Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show. I'll be breaking down the big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, guys, please hit the like button, and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. Now, if you're really serious about trading into 2026 and you want to do this full time, get my live trading, daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, and all kinds of long term and short term setups. Definitely check out my link down below in the description. And now let's get right into the market. All right, so welcome back once again. And you guys can see Dow jumps nearly 600 points and closing at a record high after US Venezuela action that actually took place over the weekend. Oil was up big time today and could be going up even more because just because we got into Venezuela and we got Maduro does not mean that you're gonna pay less at the pump immediately. That's going to take a couple of years. And I went really into details last night on the stock market update, and you guys can go and check out that video if you like. You can see Maduro says he was kidnapped and he's a prisoner of war in New York. Court pleads not guilty, but I don't think whatever he says, it does not really matter. He's gonna have to serve, I don't know, rest of his life in prison, and he's not gonna come out anytime soon. With that being said, what we got in the stock market today: Dow is up 1.23%, Nasdaq up 0.69%, S&P up 0.64%, Russell up 1.59%, advancing 66.6, declining 30%. So 11 sectors that makes up S&P 500. Basic materials led the way on top. Financial, that's another one, big time. Consumer cyclical, you had Amazon, Tesla, both were up on the day. Industrials, and then energy. But look at here, utilities, consumer defensive, healthcare, and even technology was down here on bottom. Stock market map, what do we have here? Well, you can see, especially right here, financial. Again, another rally. Nvidia was up, but then gave back all the gains. Same thing for Broadcom, AMD, AMU, and you can see these are actually not up on the day. Microsoft, another move to the downside, came back up, but did not really hold. And Tesla, despite all that, Tesla was up over 3%. Amazon was up almost 3%. And Apple, look at that stock like Apple here, guys, down 1.38%. Once again, Google up 0.44%, and Meta going up 1.29%. We got some data today, and you can see it's not looking too hot. But then going into Wednesday, we got more data: ISM services, PMI, JOLTS job opening, ADP employment change. We'll see how that goes. And especially going into Friday, we got big data, non-farm payrolls, and this one that is market is looking for right here, unemployment rate. And this is going to move the market, guys. Now, fear and greed index, we're still on neutral, 47. So we'll see how long we can stay here because the VIX is still under 15 bucks. And now the last video, I did not include Tesla. Video was getting really long. And today, Tesla will be back because AMU was not something that I do every day. And you guys saw that AMU gapped up and crapped today. So we're not going to talk about AMU unless you're short, you're making money. And let's just talk about Tesla today. Let's get started, guys. On Tesla stock, it's up just over 3%. It was up, I think, nearly 4% today, but then gave back some of those gains. And now it's sitting at 450 plus at this moment. And if you look at my screen, we came all the way down to the 50-day moving average. We went slightly lower from there, almost touching the support 432. And now we're back over 445 and trading. If you look at my screen, this blue line here, just above 450. So technically it's looking a little bit better, but not, I would not say this is extremely bullish that we should just go and jump and go to the long side here of Tesla. I would say wait here and see what Tesla does. The today's candle, it's up and green, but definitely you can see huge wick on top, and there was quite a bit of rejection there. So Tesla here, watch out that 450 support, the 5-day moving average underneath that 445, and then 432 to the downside. If this thing somehow is able to hold over 445 to even 450, these two moving averages, we could see a push towards 464.75, maybe even up to this gap here at almost 474. On AMD, it's down 1%, but how much was AMD actually up, guys? All the way up to almost 235, 234 high for the day. I think I got in at 232 a little bit early, but then 225 puts, and these were just day trades, weeklies. Not only myself, quite a few people that got in on AMD. Then we had SMH, Weekly, Apple, some of the other plays that we had swings. IBM, that was actually calls that actually went up. We had so many other calls like Nvidia calls that we sold today, pretty much near the highs, and just bunch of other plays. I cannot show you guys all of them here, but again, new year is here, and if you want these types of trade ideas, especially daily and even swing trade ideas, and if you like shares, we also do lots of shares. It depends. If you're really serious about trading, then definitely this is the time to check out that link down in the description for Patreon, guys. So AMD was one of the best play this week, starting today, and the new year just getting started. I took these puts right here, here at 232, just before that high 234 and 225 puts. I mean, I sold pretty much at 224 ish, under 225, so went deep in the money. And when you buy weekly, I want you to guys go and check the premiums on those. You will see high and low, and you will see how much this actually went up. So AMD was fantastic. And why? Well, not only we got over this resistance, but we were trading way outside the Bollinger Band over the 50-day, and we gapped up. So what happened? Gap up and crap, right? It came back, and it could be coming back even more, right? But I don't have any more puts on AMD. These were only day trades, completely out, and this was really nice, especially playing it uh, back down to the downside. So going into tomorrow's session, AMD definitely did not even hold the 50-day, 226. Now it's trading here at 221. Definitely watch out for the gap fill right here at 217.64. That should be the trend line and the gap right here, and it can hold as a support. If not, down here at 214.66, and then all the way down here, just 202 to even under 200. We could be looking at that if that happens here on AMD, this breakdown. Now, it could go bullish also if this thing comes down here, fills the gap, and then we go back up and take out 226, or even take out 226 come tomorrow here. And if we can hold above that level, we could be going back up to 235 and even higher on AMD. But still, I'm not buying this rally on semis and how the market is going up, especially on Friday and even today. And when VIX is down to like 14 bucks, I just don't like buying anything, especially to the long side, because I know the upside is going to get really limited here, and at some point you're going to see a decent correction in the market, and especially on these names, they're going to come down if that happens. And that's why I don't like especially chasing at these levels. On Amazon, stock is up nearly 3%. So Amazon also made a massive move all the way up to that gap. We did fill that gap the other day, and then Amazon now holding 233. If that holds, we could be going up to 236, and over that, watch out for 242. Now Amazon comes back. Looks like we got an inside day. Even though it's green, we could not take out top of this candle or bottom of this candle. So it's pretty much trading inside this candle. So if this thing actually holds up at 228.68, we could see some upside. But if that breaks, we could be pulling back into that 223, 224 range, even 221 to the lower band, and then all the way down to 215 on Amazon. On Meta, it's up 1.29%. So Meta, another reduction where, well, 664. We came up, rejected, went back down. So Meta here, last week I took some calls right here, and it was just only I think two contracts. These are expensive, guys, and these were up today. So I sold these, and then this thing came back again. Sold right about here because it wasn't getting any breakout, and it was up decently here at this point. So it was really nice to see Meta going up, but getting also that rejection. Now, can it go higher? Absolutely, it can, and only if this thing can actually break and hold a 664, we could see a move towards 672, 673, maybe even 682. But if this thing comes back, look at what Microsoft is doing. That's definitely not looking good for the market. So Meta comes back and we get under, especially 658. These moving averages, blue line and white line, you will see it drop down to 650, which this thing was pretty much there under that level today. And below 650, there will be support at 643 and then 638 on Meta. On Google stock, it's up 0.63%, so it's all over the place. Again, 319 came back down to 315, went back up, just running all over the place. So Google here, key level to hold that 314 level because we have these moving averages now stacked up here. And so far, we got another doji type of candle. So if this thing remains over 314, we could see some move back up to the upside, possibly 324, 323, maybe even retest previous all-time highs, 328.67. But if this thing gets under 314, that's when it will become really interesting. We could see a drop down to 309, then down here at 307, 303 to even flat 300. On Apple, stock is down 1.38%. So this is why it's concerning to see the market hitting all-time highs, especially Dow, and then S&P was really close to it. Also, only like what $2 away from all-time highs. And why it's concerning because you know, what we have seen previously, the market mover and the big names are Microsoft, Apple, then we got Nvidia, and look at what's happening. Apple, huge rejection on Friday, came down, pretty much finished up the day red. And what's happening today? Well, Apple was down once again. And look at what's actually going up. We got junk stocks like MU going up. We got PLTR going up. Then we have some of the other names, especially like ASML getting an upgrade, and there was a gap up and go, $70 gap up and go. TSM, another one going up. And these big names are not even catching a breather. Look at Microsoft. I mean, that thing is trading below, I believe, daily 200 SMA. So market is bullish at all-time high without these big names. You think that's bullish? I don't know. Why the market went up? Well, some of these financial names are up big time because they're injecting money into the banking system. And also you got, some of these energy names are up massively today, especially Chevron, XOM had a great day, massive rally on those, even though we did not see a massive move on USO, which is the United States oil, right? So that just concerning to see, some of these things are not really pushing higher, not at all time high. As a matter of fact, making new lows. Same thing with Apple here. You can see bar to bar, this was the previous low, and today we made a slightly lower low here. So what is next and what's going on? We'll see how that plays out here on Apple. But as of right now, all I see, and I talked about it before in my video, many times that I see Apple coming down, closing the gap at 264. And I think that is still the theme. Apple is coming down here, and we could see that early this week. So far, why it's not getting there today? Well, it's not, a broad market sell-off today. It was just a couple of names, big names took hit, and you can see Apple trading at the lower band. So if the band expands to the downside, it will come back and close the gap at 264, which could be a nice opportunity if that happens. Maybe even better at 259, these previous highs right here. Now to the upside, if we get some sort of a move back up to the upside, there will be resistance right here at 271 to 272.61. If we can get over those moving averages, then watch out for the resistance at 274 and then 277 on Apple. On Microsoft, it's absolutely flat on the day, but you can see bar to bar, we actually made a lower low. And why it's not going down even more? Because you can see it's trading on lower Bollinger Band, which is sitting around 471. So is that the bottom? Is it going to go up from here? I don't know, but it's definitely not looking bullish. You can see we had that 20-day crossing below the 50-day moving average, and the trend is just not bullish. It's a lot of chop here. We couldn't even take out this high here. So now we broke this, wedge type of pattern or even a bear flag, whatever you want to call it here, and we're actually trading below that level. So until we recapture 473 and possibly even, I would say 476 over this trend line, I don't see Microsoft going up to 480. If this thing remains down here, this Bollinger Band on bottom will come down even more, and you're going to see Microsoft possibly coming down and taking out this low, which is almost at 465, and possibly will go on and make another new low. And that is the concern for the market because if it's bullish, everything is okay. Well, I should see, big names like Microsoft and Apple leading the charge, Nvidia, but that just not happening. Even Meta, we saw a bit of a rally, but it's not at all-time highs, guys. Only few names, and those names are not all mega caps. On Nvidia, stock is down 0.39%. So Nvidia, we had calls that we actually bought a couple days ago, and I think I did share that play with you guys that I sold some of it and still holding some. And today on this pump, we sold out, and then look at the reversal, immediately came down. And not that we took out only 190, barely holding on to this key support zone, 186.67. As a matter of fact, we went under that 50-day and then came back up. So not a good looking chart, especially how Nvidia is looking. We can still go down from here. We got a bunch of gaps down here that we opened up recently on Nvidia. And if it comes back, yeah, that could be an opportunity. But for this gap, I don't want to target, anything higher. And then all the other semis, including the ETF, SMH at all-time highs. And then you see a, big push to the downside. And then you're holding Nvidia here, and you're all of a sudden like your position was up quite a bit, and now you're just down from your, average. So that's why I, took profit on Nvidia. Well, looking to get back if this thing comes down a little bit more, maybe under 184, or maybe even down here to the gap. But at this point, I'm not gonna go and chase Nvidia or try to buy back, because I played twice. Once from here, all the way up here, and then we had a dip right down here, and then we picked up at 185. And today, again, we sold near 193. So that was fantastic. I don't like going back and forth every time. We'll see how that goes next few days. But you can see another thing that, I was saying that, the way market went up, it's concerning, because look at Nvidia. We gave back all of those gains, and why? Well, it just, too much, because semis cannot just keep the market up. A lot of these big names are not participating, into that rally. And this is pretty much like one-sided rally. There's a lot of rotation taking place, but it's at some point, things are gonna get caught up, and you will see, especially when SMH hitting brand new all-time high, which it did, gap up and go today, and then gave back all those gains pretty much. I think holding by a thread just a little bit, the gains, I think 1% left out of almost 2.5, 3%. And it gapped up also on Friday, so a bunch of gaps to the downside. And when you see like, double gap up and go two, three times, you already know like there is no upside left. Already gapped up twice, maybe third time. Guess what? It's going to come down and close some of those gaps. And it's natural to do that. It's going to do that. And that's why we don't go and chase anything. So, what is next here on Nvidia? Well, 186.67, this 50-day is a key level to watch. But looks like it was holding this 5 day as well, 188. So that's going to be a level to watch before 186.67. So 188 to 188, 186.67. These two key zone will be acting as a support. If we crack below the 50-day, we might be heading down to 184, and then the gap at 181.45. If we can get over 190, that holds, we could see a move over, especially where we got rejection a couple of times already, 193. Then it's heading back up to 196 and possibly even higher. On Broadcom, it's down 1.21%. So Broadcom definitely another stock, just like Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft. The fourth one that is not doing so well. And you can see we had that massive move on Friday's session. It actually faded. And today, once again, it was up, I think, over 1%. It actually faded again. So if this thing cannot clear and hold 356.7, we're not going higher. As a matter of fact, we could be pulling back into 330s, maybe 324, and then this gap comes into play right here on Broadcom. So Netflix up 0.5%. We saw a little bit of push to the upside today, but again, you can see the candle definitely does not look bullish. Huge wick on top and a rejection. So if this thing cannot get back over 94, I don't see Netflix going up anytime soon. And I think they do have earnings coming out very soon this month. So that would be something to watch. If this thing can push before the earnings, possibly over 94, that would look more bullish. I would like to see Netflix over this candle here, which is the top here at 94. If we can get over that, then it's going to look a lot more bullish. As of right now, I mean, this thing is in no man's land, and it can go lower, like I said, 85 to 86 bucks easily if this thing does not recapture 94 here very soon. And then we can talk about more upside. But as of right now, you can see just consolidating and not really doing much after that breakdown that took place last week on Friday. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night, everybody.